Hey guys, after what I'm going to say, I am allowing you guys to call me dumb. It's okay, but I want clarification from this. As a country, we have the money making machines, right? Like we make money. So why are we broke? Like why are we borrowing loans? Why have we not printed money and just paid the Chinese people? Like, I mean, why do we have the money making machines and we can't make money? I mean, make me understand, because I don't get it. I do not get it. Please explain. Yeah.
This is absurd. 3.3 trillion was borrowed illegally without the approval of the parliament. Okay? Hakuna mahali waliamuka hawa washenzi tulipeleka bunge wakaketi agree tutaomba 3.3 billion. Zikashuka treasury. Less than 1 trillion was put in developments. The rest was used in PR stunts. Given our president is very petty, it was looted properly. Easy chipset marathon mnana huku wakishuka na helicopter tano. That's where your money went. Na katiba inasema aje? Achana hata tuachane na katiba basi. Kwani hizi ministries na parliament iko controlled with one person? I've read that thing and I've come to realize this. People in power should not be petty or delusional, you know. Where? Sometimes I end up not talking because of how shocked I am. Unasoma kitu, unafanya hesabu, unajiambia let me sleep first. I'll wake up to think nikiamka. Ini deni. Sawa, ini deni. Iliombwa ikatumika vibaya. Let's not count about the contractors who are given contracts. Sawa? In the wrong way. They didn't even hawaku bid. Wacheni nendeni lali.
I believe it's very clear to say with certainty that the church is, most of the church, not all, because there's always the rule to the exception, are going to be used again in this next political cycle to try and sanitize leaders as the cheering squad, to try and push their agenda based on what we saw yesterday, when those women, clearly people hired to adorn the most respectable kitambaya AIPCA, to shout down at leaders, to shout for specific leaders. They were even being signaled, shouting, ongezeni volume. And you're like, why would a church allow such to happen? But it's clear and very simple. Kachengcheng kanatembea, kameshaanza kutembea sasa, kanisa mmeshaanza kukua sanitizing machines. We see you, we've not forgotten the role you played in 2022. We're going to call you out, because in 2027 you're not going to get away with this. Hizi kanisa kutumia jina ya Mungu na kutumia kanisa za Mungu kusanitize our leaders after vitu wametuonyesha this past. Hey, hapana.
Good people, I want us to talk about our debt ceiling. Our debt ceiling has reached 12 trillion Kenya shillings. Now listen to this. Out of the 12 trillion Kenya shillings, Parliament only approved, and this is why we always say it's important who we vote in the next Parliament, because this Parliament that we have currently does not care about Kenya, and they are completely being held hostage by the executive. Out of the 12 trillion Kenya shillings debt ceiling that we now have, Parliament only approved 2 trillion Kenya shillings to be borrowed. Now, the same Parliament, meaning a good 10 trillion, was not approved by Parliament. It was borrowed outside their mandate and outside their approval. Now, out of the 12 trillion, they have now approved that we pay as a country 8 trillion Kenya shillings. So they are approving the repayment of debt that they not even approved. But now wanasema ilipeni 8 trillion. We have no country here, you guys.
Calculating how Kenya is indebted, you don't need a special calculator. You can do it with your calculator in your phone. The GDP of Kenya is around 17 trillion. and our borrowing now is going to 13 trillion. You don't need any person to tell you what the debt to GDP ratio is. It is over 73%. The current cap in terms of laws in Kenya is at 55% with a band of 5%, meaning maximum of 60%. So that we are already past what is legally acceptable. Whether infrastructure fund is it's called I think panacea of infrastructure. Basically what we are doing is to run from the budget. We are running away from the budget. We are thinking we have already borrowed too much in the budget, so we want to now relocate, leave the budget with its problems of borrowing, and create another budget on the side. And I want to ask Kenyans this question. We have tarmac roads constructed in Kenya since independence. And I mentioned some of them the other time. You live here, you go to Isiolo, you go to Marsabit and Moyale. That's the road that Kenyan built. It was not through a fund. It was through prudent management of the resources we have. No extra taxation, no PPP, no securitization, but you have that road. We have all the roads you see in Kenya were built by the people of Kenya through taxes. There were no funds, there was no securitization, there was no illegal borrowing. So let's not get confused by hubris and big words, and then we forget that Kenya has already done so much using the orthodox manner of management of public resources. Yes, bro.
Okay, thank you very much. You've actually raised very pertinent questions on the economy, and also asked the questions on
that, because I want to also face the issue where it matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, mothers and fathers, today we are going to discuss Kenya's public debt, which is currently standing at 11.5 trillion Kenya shillings as of May 2025. This has increased from the 10.4 trillion Kenya shillings in May of 2024. Currently, Kenya is one of the fastest growing sub-Saharan economies in Africa. However, their GDP, or gross domestic product, for those of you who don't know, it's the total value of goods and services produced within a country for a specific period of time. Currently, their GDP is made up of 67% debt. So, how did we get here? Anyways, in 2014, the government of Kenya borrowed a Eurobond of $2 billion. If you don't know what a Eurobond is, okay, I'll just tell you what it is. A Eurobond is when one country moves to another country and borrows money in a different currency. So the Kenya uses Kenya shilling, but they borrowed this loan in USD. And the problem with this is that the Kenya shilling is lower than the US dollar. So the paying back, you would definitely end up paying more if your shilling loses value during that time that they have given you. And this Eurobond was for 10 years. So it meant it expired in June of 2024. But anyways, come June of 2024, they had actually only paid 1.48 billion US dollars of the Eurobond. And so they needed to get another about 520 million US dollars to finish it off. Because if they hadn't paid it, investors then will be, we gave Kenya our money, but they have not paid it back. So guess what? The president, wise as he is, Dr. William Ruto, he decided to go to the World Bank, get on their knees and ask for 1.5 billion US dollars. These guys are like, Ruto, you're our guy, have the money. So he got the money, came back in June of 2024, and they paid off the first Eurobond. So it's like they are calling it something like buyback, where they got another Eurobond. So that is what is causing the whole commotion. But right now, it costs us over 1.7 trillion Kenya shillings to just finance these debts or service them. Okay, guys, we shall bring another whole breakdown of it. But these are some of the reasons they gave for getting new loans. Number one, a slow growing economy, so they needed to pump some more money in it.
just called it the fastest growing. Anyways, number 2, there are high costs of living right now. So apparently when they get more money, they can be able to pay salaries, whatever, improve infrastructure, and the standard of living, the cost of living will go down. Secondly, there was a lot of political unrest, so they didn't manage to collect enough money from the economy through taxes, because like I'll bring all of you, right now over 200 companies have closed ever since, these mandamano issues started. Anyways, another reason is the high fuel costs. So they needed some more money to really boost the budget. But guys, a lot of borrowing, it has its advantages. In the short run, it will boost your GDP, but in the long run, it might leave us crippled. Drop your comments below what you think Kenya should do.
Ripoti ya kwanza inayoangazia minyororo ya kiuchumi inachora picha ya kutosha kuhusu pesa za umma. Inafichua kuwa kufikia hii leo, 68% ya mapato ya serikali humezwa na malipo ya madeni na kulipa mzigo mzito wa matumizi ya serikali.
That it crowds out resources that would have otherwise gone towards development investment, and particularly the social and economic rights under the sectors of focus that we are talking about. That's health, that's education, water and sanitation, food security, and also social protection.
$1.6 billion is to be sent to the government of Kenya. I want us to talk in billions today. Which is the most recent billion that you're aware of? Is it the 300 billion lost from the Kenyan treasury bonds? Is it the 10.6 lost from the Ministry of Health to ghost hospitals? Or is it the 16.6 billion lost to ghost schools in Kenya? So out of 83 sampled schools, 14 ghost schools received up to 16.6 billion Kenyan shillings. So by now, I hope you have all come across this magazine or this newspaper. So this is the People's Audit 2025, and I'm here to talk about it. We are going to tackle the first chapter of the People's Audit: agriculture, youth employment, the health sector, and the state of human rights. So Kenya is at a debt trap. The People's Audit audited the truth. So in 2018, Kenya lost 9 billion in the NYS scandal. In 2015, Kenya lost 791 million in the NYS scandal. The chief suspect, Anne Waiguru, walked scot-free. 1.7 million Kenyan youths are jobless. At the same time, hundreds of thousands Kenyan youths are graduating from universities and colleges. The government does not see them as citizens to be empowered. The government sees them as tools for taxation and votes. The state of human rights in Kenya is in limbo. The 2010 constitution is on chokehold. In the protests that erupted in Kenya in 2024 and in 2025, over 200 Kenyans were killed. Over 2,000 Kenyans were arrested. And a number of Kenyans disappeared. A number of Kenyans abducted. So let us talk about the education sector. We are all aware of the 16.6 billion that was sent to non-functional or non-operational schools. Let's say ghost schools. The lecturers were on strike for over 3 weeks. The Auditor General reported that at least 21 schools are on the verge of collapsing, are on the verge of being shut down because of instability and mostly the fiscal, that is the finance. At the same time, we are all aware that there is no preparedness of the transitioning from the 844 to the new model. What about the new funding model for universities and colleges? Is it working? I want you to let me know.
I have so much information which I have not yet let out in the public domain of how Kenya is losing billions of shillings from Safaricom. So I've been saying this and requesting. If I'm, for example, a member of parliament for Kiharu, when I go to launch a project for the benefit of the people, I put forth, this is the amount of money we are using, this is where it is coming from, these are the people who are doing it. And likewise, when it comes to government programs, since they should be doing it for the benefit of every Kenyan, what better joy would it be than to come into the public and tell Kenyans, we are selling these shares this way because of this and this reason. And then Kenyans tell you, no, we think if you give other people an opportunity to bid, us as the owners of these shares, as the people of Kenya, we think we can raise more. Now, Wakenya wajadiliane, and the best idea to proceed and Kenya to benefit entirely. It is the same issue as borrowing.
Don't mind the noise, niko kwa mjengo. But as you all are busy bickering about Talanta Stadium being renamed to Raila Amolo Stadium, mnasahau that today, leo hii on a Monday morning, that they are going to unveil the National Infrastructure Fund, how 5 trillion is going to be collected to propel this country to Singapore status. So apparently our journey to Singapore begins today. Na mko busy mnaulizana Talanta Stadium inarenimiwa kwa nini, sijui nani amefanya nini. Attention span ya Kenyans inakuwa kitu kidogo sana. And this is why hatuwezi hata jisaidia. Kazi ni kuvutana, bickering like children, instead of focusing on the most important things. Nyinyi mnapigania jina ya stadium. Jina ya stadium. Na kuna 5 trillion inatafutwa. 5 trillion yenye haita kwa accounted for. 5 trillion yenye itakuliwa like nobody's business. 5 trillion yenye itaongezwa kwa taxes. 5 trillion yenye itakatwa kwa mshahara za watu. Lakini nyinyi mnauliza na jina ya stadium. Can you imagine? Hatutaitoka block.
Ati black chocolate ni fine melanin bana kutoka nikapate. Kanapenda kenye mi wanapenda, so kanapenda toto chupa na haga nono.
Madam na kudai, umedunga mini na unapenda mangwai. Una dance fit, unawacha nikismile. Ama niko high, jua life